All right, good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, November 14th, and market opens in about 40 seconds. So the intraday market open entry will be for a sell. So let's see. Let's go ahead and get ready for that. All right, so the intraday again will be for a sell. Market opens in 20 seconds. Excuse me, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 2, 1, and market is now open. Then we wait for the market open scalp, which as well will be for a sell to 1. All right, so perfect. Then this one is going for a 1:3 risk to reward. And almost at TP for that one. And we also have a crosses entry. Actually, we don't have a crosses entry, my bad. So here, this is pushing. Let's see here. See if we can wrap up the week pretty strongly. So we've had such a strong week. So market open for a sell, intraday 100 points stop loss, 200 points TP. And there you go, that drop. So 1:3, market open scalp, full TP for a 1:3. Risk to reward, pretty nice right there. Custom period today. Also, we do have we did form a 15-minute SAR. However, I would rather, if it's a buy, let's see here. Reset this view. If it's a buy, I would rather take it off of this 4-hour EMA. So let's see if we can get a buy here, 986. We already touched 976. So let's see if we can get this. So 976. And we wait for the crossover buy here. And this is just a scalp. And I'm also in the 10-point entry for this one. So there goes the entry and almost at TP. So quick trades right there. Full TP, right? And I already entered the 10-point entry here. So this happened pretty fast. So both of them full TP happened pretty fast. So let's go. So again, nowadays I just focus on this market open scalps, which I've automated on my accounts. And then let's see if we can hit TP on this intraday market open. So we've been pretty bearish on US30 since yesterday. But I think this one we can hopefully take profit real quick. And yesterday's was crazy. So yesterday's intraday market open, and this happened similar to how it's happened before. If you look at the market open from yesterday, look at that sell. We caught the sell, but unfortunately, the first 15-minute candle came and tapped us out at stop loss and then dropped all the way back to that bearish move. And then this current market open almost at TP as well. And again, most of these entries are automated, so they're automatically. And today so far, I'm up 12,000 across all the accounts. For the week, 28K. For the month so far, 31,000. So let's see if we can hit full TP on this one. We are almost there. And just a little bit more. All right, and again for the day today, a nice 0.75 gain from that quick scalp that happened there on market open. So I rarely take this SAR and EMA full TP on the intraday market open trade. So I'm out of that trade on most of my accounts. I'm still waiting on the last account to hit. And there it is. Let's see. Full TP. So I'm out of that. intraday market open trade. So quick entries today. Today we didn't get a 9:30 a.m. in impulse entry trade, so that's fine. We really don't get the impulse entry trades every day. The only other trades I'm waiting for is the first crosses scalp. So we haven't had the first crosses scalp of the day. So let me just go ahead and let me see if my stats. And at this point, I don't even know if I want to trade anymore for the day because it's the last day of the weekend. So far, this wins. So now I'm up about 15,000 for the day. So today, 3 wins. So the intraday market open for a sell full TP, the market open scalp entry full TP. I really wish we had the impulse entry today because this would have pretty much also increased my profits for the day. When was that day where we had our biggest day ever? I think it was the day before yesterday, Wednesday, where on market open everything hit TP. The intraday market open entry hit TP. The market open scalp hit TP for 1:3. The first crosses of the day hit TP for 1:3. The impulse hit TP for 1:3. And we had a big run on the multiple crosses entry where we rode price for 200 points. So I think Wednesday was my biggest trading day ever because at some point at the beginning of the market, I was up 25,000 across all accounts, but then I went back down to about 15,000 for the day. So even for today, maybe I'll do the same thing. So for today, I really don't see any other entry unless we get to this daily SAR down here that maybe we can take a trade. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and put an alert here. 691 to 681.4. And personally, I do recommend like focus, like nowadays I just focus on the scalps. And I did go over like my journal, how on this 1 month alone, this market open scalp has generated 30, I think as of yesterday, 31,000 in just 4 weeks. And adding 6,000 from today, that's 37,000 in literally less than a month. So to me, this market open scalp is the most profitable. And that's one thing I did yesterday. So for me in total, I have 18 accounts totaling about $3 million. Um, and what I did yesterday, I switched. So I have like 20% of my accounts. So I have 4 accounts taking this market open scalp for a 1:3, and the other 20% taking this intraday market open entry. And then the other accounts are left to share all these crosses. So I'll just put this ones here, kind of like what we are looking for every day. And most of these strategies is literally one trade a day. So for example, for this market open scalp, you're literally just on the market for literally 1 minute. So in that 1 minute, it's either you hit TP or stop loss, and you're going for a 1:3 risk to reward. So this one is market open scalp here. So market open scalp, 1:3 risk to reward, just one trade a day. And I think we might, so there goes the first crosses entry of the day, which is this one. Um, let's see. So the first crosses of the day for a 1:3 here. Let's see. And my trade copy is literally slow. Anyway, so the first crosses of the day, unfortunately today. Oh, wait. Give me a second. Let me close this window. Looks like it took 2 trades, 229.45. Oh, never mind. So today, actually, I'm sorry. The first crosses entry of the day was up here because I looked at my account and I saw that it already took that trade. And then I ended up taking this one as well. Anyway, the first crosses of the day was actually up here at this. And I just took an a loss that I shouldn't have taken here. Yeah, because the first crosses of the day, this is my fault. First crosses of the day was up here. So this candle opened exactly at 9:30 a.m. So this was the entry right here at this 9:30, the candle that started at 9:30-ish. So the first crosses of the day actually is already gone, and it was this one. But unfortunately, I left my trade copy open for that account and I took a small loss here for 10 points. So I'm still up 2R for the day. But for this one, you only take one trade a day. So all of this, um, I need to figure out how to find something to close out after I get one trade a day. So the chart on my upper right, one trade a day, 1:3 risk to reward. The second chart, the chart on my upper right, one trade a day. So you're looking for the first crosses entry of the day and you ride it for a 1:3 risk to reward. Um, and then, what else? And then this one at the bottom here. What we are looking for is this. And this is the impulse entry here. Same thing, one trade a day, 9:30 a.m. only. So previously, I used to have this where I take a 9:30 a.m. only trade, but every day for the impulse entry, you don't get a 9:30 a.m. entry every day. So for example, I think this week, this is the only day we haven't gotten a 9:30 a.m. only. So previously, I used to break it down into two accounts, either the 9:30 a.m. only account or trade, or the first trade that happens after 9:30 a.m. So after journaling for like a month, I found that the first trade that happens after 9:30 a.m. wasn't as profitable. So I ended up dropping that strategy. So right now, I'm only for the impulse entries, I'm only looking for the first trade that comes up at 9:30 a.m. So if there's no 9:30 a.m. entry, I do not take that trade. So daily with me, you're guaranteed two entries. You're guaranteed the intraday market open entry, which is where you go for 100 points TP, 200 points stop loss, or you can take the market open scalp on the 15-second time frame where you go for a 1:2 risk to reward. I'm sorry, 1:3 risk to reward. Or you can wait for the multiple crosses scalps. So for the multiple crosses scalps, what we do here is just literally take every single crosses scalp that's filtered out, that's away from an area of consolidation between 9:30 a.m. and 11 a.m. So like on Wednesday, one of those entries, that's the one I rode for 200 points and made like 7,000 on one trade. And even the day before, I think we rode a cross entry for like 150 or so points. Let's see. I'm so pissed I took that additional crosses entry for no reason. Anyway, so let's see what we have. So when it comes to the SAR and EMA entries, there's really nothing else here. So in the meantime, what we can do is kind of review where we are at with these journals. All right. So if we look up as we wait for, so right now there's really no entry unless we get a crosses entry, which even looking at my charts, I really don't see, because right now we're in an area of consolidation. So the difference between the upper right channel, upper right chart and bottom right chart is that the upper right chart, we are only taking the first crosses entry at market or after market open. So only the first one. So today, the first one was this one, which hit a quick TP for 1:3 risk to reward. So we are not interested in any other. We're not interested in these other entries here. So we're not interested. So since we're not interested in these entries here, what we then do is filter them out, and we filter them out based off of consolidating areas. So anytime price is consolidating, since we're taking multiple crosses for the bottom right chart, we really don't want to be entering and exiting, entering and exiting. And the beauty with these crosses entries is that, so for example, once they come up, you have two options. You can either write price for 60 points TP, or you start trailing your TP at 60 points, Or you can wait for the exit signal candle, which is what you can see these red triangles here. So for example, when I talk about on Wednesday and on Tuesday, we rode price up for like 200 points. That's because when we took the sell or the buy, it took 200 points in our favor or 100 points before the reversal candle or before the exit candle showed up. So that's the difference with this two, is that you can either choose to take your TP at 60 points, 80 points, or you can choose to wait for the exit candle to show up. So for example, if we review the journals up to where we are at, so for example, this week for the threshold entry, we just made a 1:2 risk to reward entry here. So today, so far, this one will go up by $4,000. So for the week on this threshold account, I'll be up 8,000, about $8,000. Then we go to the next journal, the one that we just took, the one we use for our official trades. We go for a 1:1 risk to reward. So today made 2,000. So this one will go about 5,000 for the week. So that goes 5,000 plus 5,000 plus 8,000, that's 13,000 already for the week on two accounts. And then we go to the third journal. The third journal is the intraday market open. So this is this one that we just took right here, which hit TP for a 1:2. So this one I normally risk just 0.5% per trade, so that if I win, I make 1%. So this one made 2,000 today, so we'll go up $2,000. So 4,000. And this one, literally, you can see one trade a day, literally one trade a day. So this one will go up 4,000 for the week. So that's 17,000 on three accounts for in 1 week. Then we go to the next journal, which is this one, the market open scalp. So the market open scalp, this one we add $6,000. Here again, this one literally one trade a day. So we add $6,000. So the 6,000 to 7,000 here will be I'm terrible at math. 13,000. So 13,000 plus the other 17,000, that's $30,000 already for the week on four accounts. And you can see this is the one that I was saying. In literally 4 weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2 in literally 4 weeks, that's 30,000, close to $40,000 in close to 1 month. So this is, and you can see the profit factor. I'm sorry, profit factor is 4.0. EW score is or the edgework score based off of the journal is 84.86, which is very high. Win rate is 58%, and you have to consider that we are going for a 1:3 risk to reward. So to me, that's why I've even slowed down on even taking this SAR and EMA rejection scalps. And this one, you're literally guaranteed a trade so long as the market is open, you're guaranteed a trade every single day, but you have to be on the chart exactly at 9:30, exactly at market open when I'm taking that trade. So this one literally, so this week, 1, 2, 3 wins. Once I update the journal today, this will be 3 wins and 2 losses. Totaling to $13,000 in 1 week. And this one, I'm risking 1% per trade. But when we back tested it, I do recommend risking 0.5% per trade. Because upon backtesting between January and September, I think you would have only blown your account once, because at some point there were 10 back-to-back losing trades. I think there were like 5 back-to-back losing trades, then 2 winning trades, then a losing streak of like six trades. And if we look at the simulator right here, where we can simulate our trades, this is the equity growth curve you're expecting. And you can kind of see that, the probability that you have X amount of losses in a row, it decreases as the number of trades increases, or something of the sort. The probability of that reduces. So this is what you want to see. So if I still run another simulation, and you can see these charts, that's what you want to see. But anyway, so I think we're at 30,000 for the week on four journals. And then we go to the fifth journal. The fifth journal is the impulse entry. So for the impulse entry this week, only about $4,000. So not too much, but that's good enough. You can see in this month alone about 4,000, about $3,000. So that's not bad. So that's the impulse entry. So for this one, you're not guaranteed a 9:30 a.m. trade every day because sometimes you'll get a 9:30 a.m. trade, other days you won't. So you add $4,000 to 30,000, so that brings the weekly total on 5 accounts to about $35,000. Then we still, all of these are my active trading journals. Then the sixth one is the crosses entry, which is what I showed you guys here. And we haven't had any other multiple crosses entry today so far. But if price keeps pushing up, we might. Looks like we're about to get a sell here. So let's follow this one real quick before we continue reviewing the journal. So here, if this closes, of course, there's two ways to take it. You either go for 60 points or you wait for the exit signal, and your stop loss is normally open. So your stop loss is dependent upon your stop loss is dependent upon. Wait, give me a second. For some reason, that didn't fire on my accounts. But anyway, I'll just since it already showed up, I'll mark it up. So this red candle looks like it's going to be the exit signal. And right now is there's a delay with my trade copier. So right now is when I'm actually in the trade. But there's literally a delay with my trade copier, which I hate, and I think I'll change it. But I'm actually in the sell right now. With my trade copier delayed, and now I'm in that sell here. But anyway, we're not gonna follow that because when I was supposed to enter, it was supposed to be on the entry of this candle. On the entry of this candle, and then the exit candle was this red candle here. So I'll just wait for me to get kicked out, and looks like the close signal already just came up. But anyway, I ended up making some money on that late entry signal. So sometimes even with the delay in the market, you can get lucky, but sometimes you can also get unlucky. So I may change my automated trade copier. So anyway, so we at 35,000. Now this one is the crosses entry. So today this will go up by 6,000. The crosses entry, this is the one that takes the first crosses entry after market open. So today was a 1:3 win. So today, this journal for the week will go up by 6,000 once I upload those statistics. So this will bring up $15,000 for the week. So add 30,000 plus 15, that's $45,000 for the week on 6 accounts. And keep in mind, I'm copying this, but I normally copy them with different risk. And then here we go to the seventh journal. So the seventh journal is what I was talking about, the multiple crosses. So multiple crosses, you can either exit at 60 points TP. So far for the week, about $800. And this one is pretty consistent. And this again is a 200K account, you can see. So $800 for the week. So 45. So I'd still say $45,000 for the week. And then the eighth journal is the one we ride price until we get the exit signal candle. And this week so far, you can see about 5,800. In that late entry account, I just made $1,400. But again, I only count this after 11 a.m. because I can end up losing for the day because like we saw here yesterday, we had 9 trades. As much as I ended up profitable, you can see out of those 9 trades, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades were losing trades, and the losses were between what 700, 700, 500, 600, 500. But you can see the wins are big because I had a $2,000 win, minus $100 loss for the $3,000 win. And then you can see this is one of those big days. So the day before is the one I'm talking about. Ended up 4,000 for the day with 8 trades. But you can see out of 8 trades, 6 trades were losing trades, and most of them were back-to-back losses. So you can see if we look at the entries here, you can see the return $200 loss, 500, 800, $500 win, $500 loss, $700 loss, $700 or $800 loss, $800 loss, and $7,000 win. So that's how I ended up winning or coming up on top with this one. And again, for these crosses entries, you literally have to take every single trade that comes up between 9:30 a.m. to 11 um to 11 a.m. And again for today, of course, like with this with this impulse entry, I'm not taking any impulse entry that comes up post 9:30 a.m. So if it was like 2 weeks ago, I used to do that. I used to take that, but nowadays I do not. I only take the 9:30. So with the with the upper left, bottom left, and upper right charts, I only look for the first, I only do one trade a day. And then for the bottom right chart, that's the one I do multiple trades in a day. And so far, so let's see. Yeah, so the week so far about 45,000, um, about $45,000. Officially on my trade copy, it's showing me $33,700. But it's only because I have different ways I'm copying across all accounts, and some accounts I have to take manually because, for example, in some top one accounts I have to enter manually, and I cannot use a trade copier. So for some prop firms, I have to manually enter them. So those are not um, recorded on there. So let's see if I do this. To here. So this is, and I'll just paste this up here. So this is that my official trade copy or trade manager. So you can see I'm managing close to $3 million here. So for the day so far, 17,922.5. 0.15 for this week so far, 33,780. For this month so far, 36,598. But definitely this one is going to change. So if I take any win, if I take any loss, of course this one is going to increase. So we'll see. The only other for the EMA and SAR scalps, unless we push up even this hourly EMA, if we push up this hourly EMA, we'll move away from this zones entry. So I wouldn't even take that. So I wouldn't take this weekly EMA entry because it's lying on a bearish order block. So the only one I would take is this daily SAR entry, which is to mean price has to drop about 300 points more. So we'll see if we get that drop, and we'll see if we can take that. Other than that, I think we'll just kind of, and even today's live session will be shorter. But we'll just track and see if we can get a multiple crosses entry. And I think the best thing we can do here is to get a buy entry. Mm. Um, oh, this is even charging. Yeah, so I'm not going to the best one we can get here. And if we do get a buy entry here, I think it's one we can ride up for 200 points, if not more. So let's see if we can also we have some bearish structure. We have the best bearish structure. I'm sorry, bullish structure. We definitely have bullish structure here on US30 because one way I normally use to draw bullish structure is you look at the intersection of wicks on the hourly time frame. Personally, I like those wicks to be lower lows or higher highs, depending on the direction I'm looking at. So for example, this one is definitely a lower low. As much as we have a wick here, I would have wanted this wick to be the lowest or to be a lower low. So for example, you can see this blue candle, this blue line that I've drawn down here. The reason I drew this as a bullish structure is because we have a lower low here, and then we also have lower lows here. So you look at the intersection of those candles, and then you enter. So, I mean, still this can be considered a bullish structure, but not as well as I like drawing it. But typically what I do here, if I'm looking at bullish structure, if price achieves a bullish or bearish structure level, Then I normally go down to the 15-second time frame, and then I wait for a previous. So if I'm looking to buy, I wait for a previous high to be broken. So for today, the previous high would have been this wick right here, would have been this one right here. And then um previous high on a move up or down. So let me see if I'm interpreting this right. So we formed this, actually not even that, my bad, it's not there. So there's definitely that one, there's this one. So it would have been this one. So in any case, this entry would have been here. I'm still debating on if I even want to do any of this, but this one you'd either go for 100 points TP, 200 points stop loss, or you go for 50, 50 points TP and 150 points stop loss. Definitely at 20 points because you'd wait for the break. So for the break of the high. So if you went for 20, 30, like the one we normally use, of course that one would have been stopped out. So I'm thinking maybe even 500 points stop loss, 1500 points TP. But anyway, so personally, the bullish, when I draw bullish or bearish structures, I want the wicks to be lower lows or higher highs. So that's why for me, the best bullish structure that I have is here at 46,513. And you can see here, this is even going to be, so actually here, so let's see. We just entered a sell. So there's a sell entry here for a multiple crosses entry. So let's see how this one goes. So again here, and for me, again, this is automated. And this time, and typically you have an open stop loss because the exit candle is what's going to tell you when to exit the trade. So let's see. And typically here, since I'm entering on two accounts, on one of my accounts, the stop loss is at 60. I'm sorry, the take profit is at 60 points. And then for the other one, the take profit is at the exit candle. So that's why I'm able to write price for like sometimes 200 points or 300 points. Actually, we haven't done 300 points yet. We've done 200 points, I think, on Wednesday. So let's see how this one ends up going. But if we go back to where we were here, you can see where where this bullish structure is. This is definitely an area of structure because US30 had pumped up here, and then if you remember when we started or when I started live streaming like 2 years ago or something, we always talked about structure. So most of these instruments love completing structure. So, and with this completion of structure here, we also do have a bullish structure, which is the intersection of these candles right here. And with the intersections, I normally look at intersections of at least two candles. So you don't want to go where price has retested like 3 times. You don't want to go where price has retested 4 times because it loses and full TP on the 60-point entry. And then guess what? I'm still in the trade that's still waiting for the exit candle. So for the account that takes the trade at 60 points, I've already exited that trade because I've actually, wait, my bad. I haven't exited. It did hit 60 points, but it didn't, my trailing stop loss did not kick in. But I think I start trailing at 65 points so as to give myself some leeway. So let me see. So 60 points is definitely there. Okay, so now my trailing stop has kicked in and I'm out of that trade at, so for this one account I made $1,600. For this other account, it's still riding this trade because its exit is going to be dependent upon an exit candle. So anytime you see, so when you see a candle that gives you like this or gives us this red triangle, that's going to be your exit signal. But again, we haven't gotten that exit signal yet. So for this account, I'm up $2,700. So I'm still going to keep riding this trade until I get an exit signal. So if it decides to go down 300 points before giving me an exit signal, well and good. If it decides to give me an exit signal here, I'll cash out $3,000. And that's the beauty of this because you're kind of hedging, right? With two accounts, you're hedging. With the first account, you're trailing your stop loss at 60 points. With this, in order to lock in at the very least those 60 points, which on US30, 60 points is a lot. And the other account, you're just saying, until I get my exit signal, I'll stay in that trade. So here, I think if you see like some strong retracement there, just know that an exit signal is inbound. So here, I think the exit signal is going to be this next candle. So if this next candle closes bullish, that will be the exit signal. But if it doesn't, then we're just going to keep riding price up. All right, so 19. So for the day, up 19,000. If this trade closes the way it's going to close, I may end up, I may just call it a day. I just might just call it a day because now this will get me up more than 20,000 for the day. So we're still pushing, right? So open stop loss, open TP, your exit will be dependent upon the exit candle. And typically, even when we get a stop loss or we get a stop loss hit, like for example, this one that hit stop loss here, the exit, if you get a stop loss after you have an entry candle, the exit candle doesn't really go past your entry like so much. Sometimes you'll get a 30-point stop loss. I think the maximum I've seen is maybe 30 or 40. But then now you're counting on these big moves right here that price will keep going in your direction so that at least you can recoup your some of those losses. So there goes. You can see that red candle, right? So that's going to be our exit candle if it closes that way. And there you go. So there goes our exit candle. So for that one, not bad. I know at some point I was up almost 3K, but I did 2,000. So $2,000 plus the other late entry signal that I entered. So for this account, I'm up 35, just 3,500. So again, for these multiple trades, if you're taking them with me, you have to take every single trade that comes up, because if you miss one trade, like you can miss a trade and that trade becomes the trade that's going up for like 200 points or something. So for those multiple entry candles, or multiple crosses, you have to take literally every single trade that shows up. So here, if I kind of replace what I have here on my trading journal, not on my trading journal, on my journal or trade copier, this here, copy. Can see this now. My today it goes up. So from previously when we were looking at it, I think it was 19,000 or 18. So right now you can see for the day 21K. So almost 22K. And definitely this is higher because of the other manual accounts. Um, this one is which one? Blue. Blue Guardian. See. I think I have some payouts to request today. Actually, yeah. Wait a minute. This is Blue Guardian. The Blue Guardian. E8. With the SAR and EMA entries, nothing yet. So at this point, it's just a matter of waiting. Top top one is US30 6 month and a week. Okay. And in 6 minutes, we'll just call it a day. You can see the market has started ranging. I think the best case scenario here, even for these multiple crosses, is that we get a buy, which I think a buy will come in if we close 40 or 30 points above where we are. So if we get to here, 987, we might get a buy here. And if that buy comes in, it might be a buy that pushes up pretty heavy. Excuse me. Let's see. Wait. Mm, let's see. Mm, wow. Am I unable to log into? All right. So in 3 minutes, that will be it for today's live session. So for this, I think eventually what we'll do is we'll switch over from using this crosses, and I didn't take a screen grab of that one. What was it based off of? It was based off of the 4-hour EMA 2, and entry was at 47,040. So this happened pretty fast. What I think I'll end up doing is switching the official trade tracker from the SAR and EMA scalps. One reason for that is because the one we use is the one we use to track that is a 1:1 risk to reward. And I may move it to the market open scalp that goes for a 1:3, and it's definitely way more profitable. But I mean, this one is still profitable. My only issue with it is that it's like a 1:1 risk to reward and all. Anyway, so it's 10:14. I really don't see anything else. Even for these multiple crosses, you can see we are in a range. The reason we're in a range is, I mean, easily you can see that price is squeezing between two zones, and also, the bottom right chart has filtered out the the signals that are squeezing or are in a range. So there's definitely, I don't see too much else to look at. I mean, pretty nice overall day so far. So I don't even, I'll still keep taking the multiple trades entry since they're automated. So I'm not even entering them manually. So they are automatically entered on my account that's taking those. But for me, manually trading so far for the day, I'm done unless price gets to this daily. So this daily entry is at 46,689. So if price gets there before 11 a.m., personally, I'll be taking the trade. If it satisfies the 10-point threshold, that means that if price gets to 46,691 on US30 on the Oanda chart, if price gets there, it has to not only get there, but it has to push down 10 points past that. So it has to push down 46,680 for me to take that entry. But it has to happen before 11 a.m. and it has to happen in that sequence. But other than that, I really don't see anything else to push. That will be it for today, and I will see you guys next week. Have a good rest.